Hey everybody, thought I would do a game of payoff pitch baseball. I put a video on a little while ago about how great their customer service was. Then a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. I got the 2015 set from History Maker Baseball and started playing that a little bit, but I feel like I need to get back to my replay on payoff pitch baseball and do a video on that, at least part of a game. There were videos on the basics of the game, how to set it up, what the components are, and so forth, from Steve Tower and Al Wilson. But tonight I thought I would commemorate a history of the 1977 season, which is of course my favorite season since I was 12 years old. And I'm replaying the Chicago Cubs 1977 season. They are currently 4-0 after 4 games, not because of my managing skills, but just the way the cards flipped for them and just some of the breaks they got in the matchups. They hosted the Mets for 3 at Wrigley Field, so they won those 3. They're now getting ready to play the Phillies at the Vet, game 2 of a short 2-game series. They won the first game, and now we're ready for game 5 of the season. And like I said, it'll be coming from the Vet. It's a replay from the actual game that occurred on April 13th, 1977, which was my 12th birthday, so that sort of holds something special for me also. So I thought I would try that out. And I'm also going to try another niche and see if I can make it work. When I did a video for History Maker Baseball, I incorporated baseball cards from the 77 season, 1978 tops and 1977 tops, to add a little aesthetics to the cards and to the game, and also the stadium photo from Al Wilson. So I have incorporated or borrowed the stadium, Veteran Stadium, from the History Maker game to go along with the play mat from Payoff Pitch Baseball to try to have my experience be a interesting one, hopefully. And I've also set up the game and have the Topps baseball cards out with each of the Payoff Pitch cards. So I'm hoping that that will add something to the game. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get started. Okay, the board is all set up for our game from April 13th, 1977. You see we're at a relic of the Vet, but it's a good picture. The old AstroTurf, which was a symbol of the 1970s baseball world. And in our payoff pitch game, we have our Veteran Stadium effect card, which will come up on ballpark turns of the fast action card. So we'll see what is in store for that. Right now what I'll do is get ready to introduce the starting lineups, and for time expedience sake, the first inning I'm going to go ahead and try to show the results on the batter cards on camera, and I know that takes just a tiny bit longer, and then after that I believe I'm going to just read them off and try to get a flow going and get on a rhythm with these fast action cards. So without further ado, we shift over to our starting pitchers for today's game. For the host Philadelphia Phillies, it'll be left-hander Randy Lerch. Randy Lerch. And opposing him will be right-hander Ray Burris, both making their first starts of the season. Now let's meet the starting lineups for the visiting Chicago Cubs, managed by Herman Franks. And we will get going with this. Just a second here, as soon as I get everything where I want it and need it. Okay, here we go. Leading off and playing shortstop, Ivan DeJesus. Batting second, playing in left field, Jose Cardinal. Batting third, playing first base, Larry Bentner. Batting cleanup, playing right field, Bobby Mercer. Batting fifth and playing in center field, Jerry Morales. Now, I do not have a Topps card, or I can't find one readily available for Steve Ontiveros, so I'm going to just show his payoff pitch card. So batting sixth and playing third base is Steve Ontiveros. Batting seventh and catching is George Mitterwald. And batting eighth, playing second base, is Manny Trio. And again, batting ninth and pitching, Ray Burris. That is the lineup for the Chicago Cubs. Now, let's meet the Philadelphia Phillies, managed by Danny Ozark. Leading off will be center fielder Gary Maddox. Batting second at shortstop, Larry Boa. Batting third, third baseman Mike Schmidt. Hitting cleanup in left field, Greg Luzinski. Batting fifth in right field, Jay Johnstone. Batting sixth, doing the catching, Bob Boone. Batting seventh, playing first base, Tom Hutton. Batting eighth, second baseman, Ted Sizemore. And, of course, batting ninth and pitching, Randy Lurch. And we scroll over to our score sheet. You see I have the ratings. This is the score sheet from Payoff Pitch Baseball. I prefer my own, but for this video and to show the ratings and how you can put them in and refer to them during the game, I went ahead and I'm using their score sheet today. And you can see the Cubs line up there and the Phillies line up there. I had a scratch out. Dane Orge is actually in the original starting lineup for that game on April 13th, 1977. However, I am using the PDF version of the players, and also the fact that he was playing first base in this game, and he is not rated as a first baseman in Payoff Pitch Baseball. He's only rated as an outfielder. So rather than put somebody in there that doesn't have a rating, I thought it'd be better to use Tommy Hutton, who played a lot of first base while Richie Hebner was on the disabled list, and then we can always use Dane Orge to pinch hit if need be. So that's why it's a little bit messy there, and I had to rewrite over his ratings, but sometimes things happen. Okay, we're just about ready to go. And of course, the star of the payoff pitch game, at least in my opinion, since I have both the dice version and the fast action card version, but I've kind of fallen in love with the fast action card version. It kind of reminds me of the old Status Pro days, and I've got other games that I use, that I roll dice on, Stratomatic, History Maker Baseball, and Replay Baseball. So this is the one game I can use fast action cards, so I've kind of got a little nostalgic and went back to my roots on that. And so to me, those are the star of the game itself, not to mention the player cards, but the fast action cards as well. They've been shuffled. I usually do an obligatory break or cut, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And without further ado, we have Ivan DeJesus against Randy Lurch. That is our first matchup of the ball game, and you can see with the PDF versions how the colors, particularly on the pitcher card, stand out. So we know if Lurch flips over a 2 or a 12 on the fast action card, he is in trouble via the wheelhouse. So let's go ahead without further ado and get this ball game going. First flip for DeJesus, and it is a 9, and on Lurch, 9 is in play. So we flip over and see what DeJesus does with the in play. It is an 80, and on DeJesus, in play 80 is a fly ball to center field. My phone does not take the best pictures in the world, but I've got it hopefully centered there. It's middle of the third column in the out range. That is a fly ball to center field. So Ivan DeJesus is out, flies to Maddox, 1 away. So DeJesus is gone, and that will bring up the left fielder, Jose Cardinal. So Jose Cardinal is up against Lurch. We'll see what Cardinal can do. First pitch is a 7, and on Lurch, 7 is in play again. So the next flip is a 43. Jose Cardinal, Lurch is a left-handed pitcher. Jose Cardinal against left-handed pitching in play. His hit range is 1 to 31. So 43 falls out of that range, would go down to the out range, and 43 in the out range is a ground ball to third. So Cardinal hits a grounder to Schmidt, throws it over to Hutton, and there are quickly 2 away in the top of the first for the Cubs. That will bring up third hitter in the batting order, first baseman Larry Bintner. Larry Bintner, lefty on lefty matchup. And let's see what Lurch can do. First 2 flips have been in play, so we'll see if we get something different this time. This time it's an 11. And an 11 on Lurch is the ballpark card. So immediately the ballpark card comes into play. Bintner is a left-handed hitter, so we go to the LHB part of the ballpark, and we see 1 through 61 is wheelhouse, and 62 through 99 is in play. So anything below a 62, it's a wheelhouse flip, and anything higher than that, 62 or higher, it's in play. So here's the all-important flip. It is a 10. Well, that's definitely lower, so that's a wheelhouse play. So now we're going to flip 1 card and check it against Bintner's wheelhouse. Now, against left-handed pitching, Bintner's wheelhouse, he does not have a home run against left-handed pitching. So, and he only goes to 31 on the base hits. Whereas versus right-handed pitching, 1 through 36 would be a home run, and his base hits would go all the way up to 55. So you can see where the lefty-righty splits are definitely present in payoff pitch baseball. So here is the flip for the wheelhouse play for Bintner. It's a 74, and that's definitely out of range. So that's a ground ball to short. So Bintner misses his pitch, grounds to Boa, throws over to Hutton, and there's 3 away, 3 up, 3 down. No runs for the Cubbies. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the first at the vet. It's the Cubs nothing and the Phillies coming to bat. Okay, we're back at the vet, bottom of the first, and Gary Maddox is going to lead off things for the Phillies, and he will be stepping in against Ray Burris. So let's see what Burris has in store this game. First flip is a 6. A 6, and on Burris, a 6 is in play. So Maddox gets a piece of the ball. Let's see what he does. It's a 1. A 1. So an in play for Maddox against a right-handed pitcher, 1 to 5 is a double. So Gary Maddox laces a double to lead off the ball game. And how about that? The Phillies are off to a hot start, trying to quell the Cubs 4-0 start. And next up is Larry Boa. So we'll see if Boa can get to Burris while Burris is struggling early on. Next flip is a 4, and that is also in play on Burris's card. So the next flip for Boa is a 74. 74 in play is well out of range. So on the out category, 74 is a fly to center. So Boa lifts a can of corn out to Morales in center. There is 1 away now. Not deep enough for Maddox to think about advancing. And so now with 1 out, we bring up the dangerous Mike Schmidt to face Burris. So Burris bearing down. Here's the pitch. A 9. A 9 is ballpark. That could be trouble. Veterans Stadium was a good hitter's park for right-handed hitters. The wheelhouse is 1 to 72. 1 to 72 for Schmidt to be in the wheelhouse. The all-important flip is a 16. That is well within Schmidt's wheelhouse. So now if we go look at Mike Schmidt's card before we do the flip, a 1 through 56 against a right-handed batter or pitcher is a home run. So A 1 through 56 on his flip would be a home run for Schmidt. Let's see what the flip is. It is a 66. So he just misses it. However, 66 does fall in the single range. 61, 67. So Schmidt singles. Now the question is, can Maddox score? So we flip over the next card to check runner advancement. And it says clearly runner on second scores. It's a bloop single into right. So Maddox got a good jump, and he will score on the single by Schmidt. And just like that, the Phillies are in front 1-0. RBI single by Mike Schmidt. And things don't get any easier for Burris because up next is the bull, Greg Luzinski. So let's see here. The flip is an 8. That is patient. So Luzinski may be looking for a walk here. The next flip is 25, and that is a walk in Luzinski's patient field. 1 through 50 is a walk versus right-handers. So Luzinski walks. That pushes Schmidt to second base. Runners are at first and second. Still only one away. Burris struggling here in the first. And now he will be facing left-handed hitting Jay Johnstone. Burris trying to regroup here. Here's the flip. It's a 6. 6 is in play again. All right, Johnstone. 82. That's in the out range, obviously, being that high. 82 is a ground ball to second base. Now, the question is that ground ball to second base a double play? To check that, we look at the D6 rating that was flipped, which is a 6, and we compare it against the double play ratings of both the pitcher and the batter. If it is equal or less than the ratings, then it's a double play. If one of the batter ratings is lower than the 6, then it's just a fielder's choice. Burris has an 8 as a double play rating. Johnstone has a 6 as a double play rating, which is equal to the fast action card. So it is a double play, 4-6-3 for Johnstone, and that will actually end the inning on that 4-6-3 double play. But for the Phillies, 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left. At the end of 1, it's the Phillies 1, the Cubs nothing. Okay, top of the second, it'll be Bobby Mercer to lead things off against Randy Lerch, who's been saved to a 1-0 lead thanks to the RBI single by Mike Schmidt. So, Lerch, lefty on lefty, will deliver. It is a 5, and that is patient in the Lerch world. So let's see what Mercer can do with that. It's a 23. Patient 23 against a left-handed pitcher is a walk. So Bobby Mercer leads off the top of the second by drawing a base on balls, tying run on base, and that will now bring up the center fielder, right-handed hitting Jerry Morales. So let's see what Morales can do. The next flip is a 5, which is what he had last time, so we know that's patient. And now Morales, a 17. 17 is also a walk. So Lerch, having a little control issues at the plate, has walked the first 2 batters. And that will bring up third baseman Steve Ontiveros, switch hitter, batting right-handed against the left-handed Lerch. Lerch seeing if he can find the strike zone at least. Would probably help him out a little bit. So we go to the flip. It is an 8 this time. And 8 is the other patient category on Lerch's card. So this could be a 3rd walk in a row. We'll see. The flip is a 55. And it certainly is, because Ontiveros in the patient field, 1 through 61 is a walk. So Lerch has managed to walk the bases loaded. First 3 batters of the inning. The only thing that might help him is we're getting to the bottom of the order. Next up is catcher George Mitterwald. He certainly is a double play candidate, if nothing else. But Lurch has to find the strike zone. Here's the flip, and it's another 5. So we're back in the patient again. And the next flip is a 49. 49. Well, fortunately for Lurch, Mitterwald, 49 is out of range on the patient list. It only goes to 44. So 49 for Mitterwald is actually a ground ball to third. So they may get their double play after all, except the roll on the 2D6 is an 11, which is obviously not lower than the double play ratings of Mitterwald, even though it is a 9. And Lurch is a 9. So most times that would have been a double play, but not this time. So it's merely a fielder's choice where Schmidt throws over to Sizemore to get the force. Meanwhile, Mitterwald, it reaches on a fielder's choice, and Mercer comes in to score to tie the ball game, and Morales goes to third. So we have runners at the corners, 1 out, tie ball game now, and that'll bring up the number 8 hitter, second baseman Manny Trio. Lurch has to find the strike zone. The flip is a 10, so we're not on a 5 or an 8, so we're not in the patient. We're actually in the tough category. So maybe Lurch has bearing down a little bit here. So let's see what Trio can do. It's a 54. So 54 tough against a left-hander is out of range. 54 is a ground ball to third again. Ground ball to third. And it's a 4. Oops, excuse me, I almost dropped that a little bit. The rating is a 4. Well, the 4 is certainly less than the double play rating of Trio, which is a 7, and Lurch, which is a 9. So that is a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. And Lurch gets himself out of that awful jam thanks to the ground balls. He does give up a run to tie the score, but it could have been a lot worse. For the Cubs, no runs. I'm sorry, for the Cubs, 1 run, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of an inning and a half, it's the Cubs 1 and the Phillies 1. Okay, Bob Boone to lead things off here in the bottom of the second inning. Booney facing Ray Burris, who has now been given a reprieve by having the Cubs score that tying run. So the first pitch from Burris is a 3, which unfortunately for Burris is right in the wheelhouse. So we'll see if Boone can take advantage of that. Next flip is a 53. It is just out of Boone's wheelhouse range, which only goes to 51. So it is an out, and the 53 is a ground ball to third. So Boone grounds it to Ontiveros, throws over to Bittner, and there's 1 away to start the bottom of the first. Bottom of the second. So Tom E.F. Hutton steps to the plate. See what he can do with Burris. Burris escapes that wheelhouse flip. This time it's an 8. 8 is in the patient range. Hutton with the flip is a 59. Patient 59, Hutton, and that is a base hit. That is a single because his range is 48 to 63 for a single. So Hutton with a 1-out single, trying to get something going for the Phillies. And that'll bring up second baseman Ted Sizemore. Ted Sizemore, righty on righty. Here's Burris, a 12, which is tough in the Burris world. So let's see what Sizemore can fight off a tough pitch. The flip is 36. 36 in the tough range against the right-hander for Sizemore is actually a base hit. So Sizemore gets a single. We'll see what Hutton can do as far as advancement. The flip, runner advances 1 base. So Hutton will move up to second base, put runners at first and second. The pitcher spot, Randy Lurch is up, and this is a bunting situation, even though there's already 1 out. If you bunt, you get 2 runners in scoring position. Lurch, with his card, he uses the batting card number 7. So we go to batting card number 7, But actually, since we're going to bunt, we won't even do that. We'll just use the bunt. I'm sorry, we will use the bunt rating on this card. So let's see here. No, actually, we're using the bunt rating on the pitcher card, I believe is how that works. That's C. So he's a C bunter. So on the sacrifice chart here, we're going to use letter C on the next flip and see if the sacrifice is perfected. And it is. It says sacrifice to the pitcher. So Lurch with a sacrifice hit back to Burris. 1-3 put out for out number 2. And guys, I hope I'm doing that right. That's how I've been playing it. I assume that's the bunt rating you use, not the bunt rating on the hitter's card, but on the, I'm assuming that's what that C means up there, 7C, is that you would do that, because I don't see what else it would go for other than bunt rating. So hopefully I did that correctly. If not, oh well. All right, Gary Maddox is back to the top of the order, 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. So Ray Burris is up trying to get out of this jam. The flip, it says next. So we're going to go to the next one. And that's a 10. 10 is in play off of Ray Burris. So Maddox getting wood on the ball. But it's a 76. So that's out of the in-play range and into the out range. It's a fly ball to center. Morales hauls it in. Inning is over. And for the Phillies, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 2 complete from the vet, it is the Cubs 1, the Phillies 1. All right, top of the third, Ray Burris, the pitcher, is going to lead it off. He is batting off the number 6 pitcher batting card. So we've got this in line right here, number 6. That's what we're going to use for our results. But first, before we do that, Randy Lurch has to throw the pitch and see if it's in his wheelhouse, it's in play, patient, tough, or whatever. So the pitch is a 7, and 7 is in play. So we go to pitcher hitting card number 6. The in play range versus left-handers, 1 to 4 is a double, 5 to 22 is a single. So we'll see if Burris can get a low flip here. He does not. He gets an 89, so that's going to be an out. Just a matter of what kind of an out. 89 is a ground ball to short. So Burris weakly grounds it to Boa at short. Flips over to Hutton. And quickly, 1 away to start the top of the third. And now we're back to the top of the order for Ivan De Jesus. De Jesus fly to Maddox his first time up. This flip is a 9, which is in play for Lurch. And the flip on the in play is a 32. In play 32 against a left-hander for De Jesus is a single, because 10 to 34 is a single against lefties. So De Jesus with a 1-out single, trying to get something going for the Cubs. And next up will be the man with the hair, Jose Cardinal. See what Lurch can do here. A 5. We're back on the patient again. So he's having trouble with that strike zone. Here's Cardinal. It's a 33. Doesn't look good. 33 is a walk. So it is another walk. 4th walk of the game for Lurch. That will move De Jesus to second base. Runners at first and second. Still 1 out. The next batter will be Larry Bittner. So it's a lefty on lefty matchup. Lurch rolls a 9, flips a 9. 9 is in play. So Bittner gets his bat on the ball. It's a 19. So in play 19 against a left-hander is a single. So Bittner fights off, or gets his bat on the ball on that in play flip, hits a single, and now the lead runner De Jesus will check, see if he can score. And it says runner on second scores on a hard grounder into the outfield. So Bittner scores De Jesus from second to make it a 2-1 Cubs lead. The runner on first, Cardinal, motors over to third. So we have runners at the corners with 1 out. Cardinal with that good speed, showing that off. And now we have another lefty coming up, the cleanup hitter, Bobby Mercer. So Lurch in trouble here. Could be bullpen stirring early for the Phillies. Let's see if Lurch can settle in. Wouldn't you know it, another 5. So he's patient again. Could be missing the strike zone again. Here's Mercer, 23. And that is a walk to load the bases. The bases are now loaded. And at this point, the bullpen is now active for the Phillies. Hopefully for them, not too late. And it looks like we're going to get Ron Reed. So Ron Reed is in the bullpen. Ron Reed is in the bullpen, frantically warming up as pitching coach is out there to visit Lurch, try to settle him down. Bases are loaded, only 1 out. Could use a double play ball right now. And it's the center fielder, Jerry Morales, coming up, right-handed hitter. Lurch has to find the strike zone. Here's the flip. Another 5. Unbelievable. Another 5. So now the next flip is a 82, so that helps him a little bit because that's in the out range. Morales' on-base range on the patient of a left-handed pitcher only goes to 75. So 82 is in the out range, which is a ground ball to short. Ground ball to short, and on top of that, it's a 6. And the double play rating for Morales is a 6. Double play rating for Lurch is a 9. So it is a double play. A double play. 6-4-3. So Lurch gets out of it again with a double play. That's the second inning in a row this has happened. He does give up a run, but it could have been a lot worse. For the Cubs, 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 left. At the end of 2.5 innings, it's the Cubs 2 and the Phillies 1. All right, Larry Bowa steps up to face Ray Burris. And from here on, I'm just going to try to get the flow going a little bit quicker by not panning down to the card. I'm just going to read what happens. So Ray Burris makes the pitch to Bowa. It's a 9, which is ballpark. So we're going to bring the Veterans Stadium card into play. Bowa is a left-hand or switch hitter. So he's lefty this at bat. So 1 through 61 is a wheelhouse flip. So let's see, it's a 20. So we're in the wheelhouse. We are in the wheelhouse. Unfortunately, Bowa's a slap hitter, so there's not much chance of a home run, but decent chance of a hit. So we'll flip, and it's a 63. So that ends that. 63 is in the out range. It's a ground ball to short. Bowa grounds out to DeJesus for the first out, and Burris left to pitch in a bad spot, but Bowa unable to take advantage. 1 down for Mike Schmidt. Schmidt had that RBI single his last time up. And this one is a 7. The previous one was a previous. I don't like using that. I'd like to skip those. So 7, that's just personal preference. 7 for me, or for Burris, is tough. So let's see if Schmidt can fight off a tough pitch. It's a 96. He cannot. It is a fly ball to left. 2 down. That'll bring up Greg Luzinski, the Bull. Greg Luzinski. He walked his first time up. So we'll see what happens this time. It's a 5, which is in play. And it's a 31. So in play 31 is a base hit for Luzinski. 2-out single. Luzinski not fleet of foot, but at least he's on base, but it may take a triple to score him. And up next is Jay Johnstone. So Johnstone, the flip from Burris is a 5. So that is in play. And the flip is a 93, which is a fly ball to right to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 3 from the vet, It's the Cubs 2, the Phillies 1. Okay, guys, to quote the old announcer, Lindsey Nelson, in the Notre Dame highlights, who moved on to further action. In the 5th inning, the Cubs picked up a run. And in the 6th inning, the Cubs picked up a run. We're in the bottom of the 6th now, with the Cubs leading 4-1. I was going to go ahead and play through the 6th inning as well, but now I've come up to a situation. Greg Luzinski led off the 6th by hitting a harmless ground ball to third. Jay Johnstone and Bob Boone both followed with walks. Tommy Hutton struck out for out number 2, put runners at first and second with 2 outs. Ted Sizemore singled, and I thought with 2 outs they might score a run, but the fast action card says runner on second only gets 1 base. So the bases are now loaded. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, Phillies down 4-1. The pitcher spot, Ron Reed, who had come in relief, his spot is up. But we're going to pinch hit with Davey Johnson. So Davey Johnson has a chance to do some damage here against Ray Burris and get the Phillies back in the ball game. So we'll check the flip for Burris. It is a 6, which is in play. And the all-important flip for Johnson is a 67. 67 is well out of the in-play range. It is merely a ground ball to second. So inning is over. The threat has been neutralized by Burris as he bared down for that final out. And so for the Phillies in the bottom of the 6th, they get no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and they leave them loaded. We go to the top of the 7th. New pitcher on for the Phillies will be Tug McGraw as we start at the top of the 7th. But heading into that is the Cubs 4 and the Phillies 1. All right, guys, top of the 7th, and as mentioned earlier, Tug McGraw is in relief. Ron Reed pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, a run, walked 1, struck out 1. And McGraw is on to face the next 2 batters for the Cubs, who are left-handed hitters, Larry Bittner and Bobby Mercer. The fast action card deck, since we're starting the 7th inning, has been shuffled and flipped and cut. So we're ready to go for the top of the 7th. Fresh results. Tug McGraw flip is a 2, and on his card that is a ballpark check. So back to Veterans Stadium, ballpark check. Left-handed hitting Bittner is 1 through 61 for the wheelhouse. So we'll see what Bittner rolls here. It is a 5, so we are in the wheelhouse. Bittner against left-handed pitching does not have a home run in the wheelhouse section. So we'll see the flip here is a 98, so it doesn't matter if it's in the wheelhouse because it's a 98. It is simply a fly ball to right field. 1 away, and Bobby Mercer is on, so McGraw got away with 1 there. Mercer is up. The flip is an 8, which is in the tough category for McGraw. He's got that tough in the 7, 8, and 9 range. And Bobby Mercer trying to fight off a pitch, but it's a 95, and for Mercer, that is also a fly ball to right. So 2 harmless fly balls by the left-handed hitters off of McGraw. There are 2 away, and that will bring up the center fielder, Jerry Morales. Morales in this game, he's walked, fly to left, and grounded into a double play. Is 0 for 2. Next flip is a 4 for McGraw. That is in the patient field, and there's already been a lot of walks in this game, so let's see if this is a walk also. Nope, 84. That's going to put it in the out range. 84, but just barely, because up to 75 was Morales would have gotten on base against a left-handed pitcher. But 84 puts it into a ground ball to short to Boa. Morales grounds it to Boa. 3 up, 3 down. Nothing doing for the Cubs here in the top of the 7th. 7th inning stretch time from the vet. It's the Cubs 4 and the Phillies 1. Bottom of the 7th, it's the top of the order for the Phillies. It'll be Gary Maddox to lead it off against Burris. Burris's fatigue rating on his card is 7, so he can go 7 innings as long as he's effective. This will be his 7th inning. He's actually settled down since those first 2 innings, and other than having a shaky last inning, the middle innings, 3, 4, and 5, he pitched very well. Here's Maddox. First pitch from Burris is a 5 on the flip, which is in play. And Maddox, 49 on an in play. That is in the out range, which is a pop-up to DeJesus at shortstop. So a pop out to short for out number 1. Maddox is out of there. And that'll bring up shortstop Larry Boa. Switch hitter, Burris, a 10, which is in play. Boa on the in play is a 54. Boa in play 54. That is also in the out range. It's a ground ball to Ontiveros at third. He's out 5-3. 2 down. Nobody on. And Michael Jack Schmidt steps up with the bases empty. That's how you want to face him. Bases empty. And 2 outs. So the pitch from Burris is an 8, which is patient. And Schmidt, 19 in the patient range, is a walk. So Burris a little shaky with Schmidt, walks him, and that brings up the bull, Greg Luzinski. So not out of the woods yet if you're Burris. Greg Luzinski is stepping up to face Burris. The pitch, 8, is a patient again, and a 5. So that is another walk. Back-to-back walks by Burris. I'm not sure what's going on with Burris, if he's tiring or if he's a little shaky of facing those two power hitters. But now you brought the tying run to the plate in the form of Jay Johnstone. And Jay Johnstone is up. And with the left-handed hitting Johnstone coming up, we're going to have a pitching change. Pitching change for the Cubs. That's going to do it for Burris. And we'll be back with the new pitcher. All right, new Cubs hurler is left-hander Willie Hernandez, who later changed his name to Guillermo Hernandez. But right now, he's still Willie. Nilly Willie. So he will be facing the left-handed hitting Jay Johnstone. Danny Ozark is mulling over a pinch hitting change, and he's very strongly considering it, and he's going to pull the trigger. And the new pinch hitter in the game will be right-handed hitting Jerry Martin. So Jerry Martin, the right-hander, is coming on to pinch hit in a big situation for the Phillies. And he will stay in the game to play right field once his at-bat is over. So we have to update his fielding ability on the score sheet with his ratings. And I'll do that real quick while I'm talking so that we can get going here. All right. Jerry Martin, tying run at the plate. Willie Hernandez, new pitcher, new batter. Willie Hernandez against Jerry Martin. The flip is a 7. On Willie Hernandez, that's tough. Jerry Martin, 36. Tough 36. He struck him out. So Willie Hernandez does his job. And now we can close the book on Ray Burris since the inning is over. Burris went 6 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 1 run, and happened to be earned. He walked 5 and only struck out 1. So at the end of 7 complete, the score remains Cubs 4, Phillies 1. Tug McGraw beginning his next inning of work. He will be facing the bottom of the Cubs order, Steve Ontiveros, Mitterwald, and Trio, numbers 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order. Ontiveros, a switch hitter. Here to start the 8th, and here's McGraw's pitch. Previous, I don't like to use an extra previous. I skipped those. That's just personal preference. 7 is tough. So McGraw found the tough spot. He got a tough pitch on Ontiveros. 13. Ontiveros tough 13 is a strikeout. So Tug McGraw put a tough one in there on Ontiveros. He could not handle it. He is down on strikes. 1 away for the catcher, George Mitterwald. McGraw next. McGraw 4. That's patient. Next flip is a 2. So that is yet another walk. Loads of walks in this game. Just the way the fast action cards are flipping, and of course the happen to be hitting those patient marks on the pitcher cards. So that'll bring up Manny Trio with Mitterwald at first. The flip is an 8. That is tough. And the next flip is 26. Trio tough 26 against a left-hander is actually a single, because his single range is 26 to 46. So Trio singles. The runner advancement says the runner advances 2 bases on a gapper into the center field. Maddox was able to cut it off to prevent Trio from making extra bases, but Mitterwald, even as slow as he is, managed to come around to third base, put runners at the corners, and now the pitcher spot, Willie Hernandez, is up, but he will be pinch hit for. He did his job, and now it's time to see if the offense can get something going to give them a little more cushion. And let's see who they're going to go for. Looks like it's going to be Gene Kleins. Gene Kleins is going to step forth and step in the batter's box against Tug McGraw. Gene Kleins. And if we look at Gene Kleins, he hit .313 on the year in '77 against left-handed pitching. So Herman Franks, of course, didn't know that at the time, but playing the percentages. Kleins against McGraw. Runners at the corners, 1 out. McGraw needs to bear down. Gene Garber is the closer in the bullpen, but he's not going to be up when they're down 4-1. They're going to have another pitcher out there that would be warming up. But right now, they're going to stick with McGraw because he's scheduled to bat 4th next inning. They want to get him out of this inning if possible. And McGraw is a good pitcher. So let's see what Kleins can do in a pinch hitting role. McGraw, a 7. That's in the tough range. So we put a tough pitch on Kleins. Kleins, 43 tough, is a single against left-handed pitching. So Kleins, Gene Kleins, singles off of McGraw. Tough pitch. And let's see about runner advancement. Runner advances 1 base. There was nobody on second. There was a runner on third. Mitterwald, he scored. And Trio only goes to second base. So a run is in. It's now 5-1 Cubs. Kleins does his job as a pinch hitter. And now that will bring up the top of the order and Ivan DeJesus. DeJesus is up. A 12. That is ballpark. Ballpark. Right-hander 1 through 72 is the wheelhouse. It is a 51, so we are in the wheelhouse. The flip for wheelhouse is 25, and DeJesus wheelhouse 25 is a base hit. Base hit. Runner advances 1 base. Runner on second scores. So Trio will score thanks to the base hit from DeJesus. Cubs put another run on the board. It is now 6-1. 6-1. McGraw shaky. Bullpen frantically warming up, trying to get ready. Here is Jose Cardinal. Cardinal, 6 is in play. Next flip is a 24. 24 in play is a base hit against the left-handed pitcher. So Cardinal, base hit. And the runner advancement is runner advance 1 base. So everybody moves up station to station. Bases are loaded. And now we've got the left-handers coming up. Larry Bittner. So Larry Bittner is up with the bases loaded and only 1 out. McGraw, the lefty, does have the advantage against Bittner, though. Lefty on lefty. He was the first batter that McGraw faced when he came into the game last inning. So McGraw retired him on the fly ball last time. Let's see what he does this time. A 5 is in play. 17. In play 17 is a base hit. Base hit. Runner advancement. 1 base again. So station to station. Another run has scored. The pinch hitter Kleins comes in. And now 3 runs are in on the inning. It is now a 7-1 game. And at this point, McGraw has taken one for the team because they don't want to burn the bullpen. But they may have to. So here's Mercer, another lefty. McGraw, an 8 is tough. 87, finally got something there. 87 is a ground ball to second. Double play ratings is an 8 here, but McGraw double play rating is a 10. So that works, but double play rating on Mercer is only a 5, so that negates that, so it's a fielder's choice. So Mercer reaches on the fielder's choice to second base. Bittner is out 4-6 on the force play, but DeJesus comes in to score from third, and Cardinal moves from second to third. It is now an 8-1 game with the 4th run of the inning. And now Jerry Morales is in, 9th man to bat in the order. And finally, we're going to get some bullpen action, or a bullpen pitcher to come in. And McGraw has seen better days. Warren Brewster is coming in. Tough situation. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. First pitch is a 10, which is tough. Morales, 32. Tough 32 is a strikeout. So Brewster comes in and mercifully gets the inning over with. 4 runs for the Cubs to jump the lead to 8-1. 8-1. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Okay, new Cubs hurler Steve Rinko is in. Mop-up duty in an 8-1 lead. And he has a long relief rating, so he can easily go 2 innings to try to finish out the game. If he does get in trouble, there's, of course, Bruce Sutter looming in the wings. But they're going to see if Rinko can finish it out. Bob Boone leads things off here in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch from Rinko, a 9, is in the wheelhouse. Boone, wheelhouse, unfortunately 96. So that is a fly to left. So Bob Boone misses a grapefruit of a pitch and merely hits a can of corn out to Jose Cardinal on left. 1 down. Here is Tommy Hutton. 5 is ballpark. 31, which is the wheelhouse again for Veterans Stadium. And Hutton, unfortunately though, flips a 94. So again, it's a fly ball, this time to right field. Mercer hauls it in. 2 down. 2 up, 2 down. And the number 8 hitter, Ted Sizemore, steps to the plate. Ted Sizemore. It's a 2, which is patient. And a 13. Patient 13 is a walk. So a 2-out walk by Sizemore. And now we're up to the pitcher spot, Brewster in the lineup. He, of course, will not be hitting. It will be Tim McCarver. The old man, Tim McCarver, will come on. And McCarver will step in to pinch hit. See if he can do anything here with 2 outs. Pinch hitting here in the 8th inning against Rinko. So Rinko's delivery 6 is tough. 32, tough 32 for McCarver is a base hit. Base hit. The runner advancement says 1 base. So McCarver with a pinch hit 2-out single. Sizemore goes to second. There are still 2 outs, but we're back to the top of the order and Gary Maddox. Maddox, 7, tough. 3, that is a strikeout. Innings over. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the 9th. Cubs 8, Phillies 1. Top of the 9th, mop-up roll. Jim Cott will get an inning of work in between starts. He did have 8 relief appearances in the season in 1977, so it's not out of the question. Leading off will be Steve Ontiveros. It's a 10, which is in play, and an 81. But in play 81 is a fly to center. So Ontiveros leads off the 9th by flying to center field. One down. And George Mitterwald, the batter. 9 is Patient 74. Patient 74 is still the outrange. Another fly ball to Maddox. 2 down. That will bring up Manny Trio. See, I'm trying to go faster here to finish up. 6 is in play. 1 in play is a double for Trio. So Trio with a double. 2-out double. And that brings up the pitcher, Steve Rinko. And with the 8-1 lead, he will hit for himself. He hits out of pitcher card number 5. Cott in play, 74. And pitcher card number 5 on a 74 is a fly ball to center. So Maddox handles all 3 outs. Inning over. Go to the bottom of the 9th. It's Cubs 8, Phillies 1. Last chance for the Phillies. It'll be Larry Boa to lead things off against Steve Rinko. The flip, 9 is in the wheelhouse. Boa, 16. 16 in the wheelhouse is a base hit. Boa didn't have a lot of power, but he does get a base hit to lead things off. And that'll bring up a guy who does have a lot of power, Mike Schmidt. So Schmidt is up with Boa on first. The flip, 6 is tough. 3 is a strikeout. So Schmidt out on strikes for out number 1. Here is Greg Luzinski. Flip 11 is in play 72. In play 72 is a ground ball to second. The lead 4 is less than the double play ratings of both Rinko and Luzinski, who have 6 as their ratings. So it is a 4-6-3 double play to end the ball game. Cubs win, Cubs win, Cubs win, as some old gentleman with funky glasses once said. Cubs now improve to 5-0 with that 8-1 victory over the Phillies. Winning pitcher was Ray Burris. He's now 1-0. Randy Lurch is now 0-1. No save since the score was rather out of hand. So anyway, that's a look at the Payoff Pitch Baseball using the PDF version of the cards. I think for one thing, for me, for someone who's getting a little older, I'm 50. I guess that's old, depending on who you ask. But vision-wise, these cards are bigger print, so they're easier for me to read. I don't know if they're easier to read on the camera because my smartphone's not that great. It's a little blurry sometimes. A little bit easier to read, bigger print-wise than the fast action cards, although the clarity is a little bit better on the fast action cards. So anyway, that's Game 5 of my season replay. The Cubs are miraculously 5-0. They will now venture from the Vet to Shea Stadium for the next series. So I hope everybody enjoyed that, and I don't know if you enjoyed seeing the baseball cards there or not, whether it was cumbersome, but that's the great game that I enjoy from Payoff Pitch Baseball, Joe Bryant, PT Games. Not only great customer service, but a fun and enjoyable and realistic ball game that puts you in the dugout to make all the decisions. You could argue that I could have gotten McGraw out of there earlier, but as it turns out, the Phillies only scored 1 run, so it really didn't matter. Don't want to burn your bullpen when you're down like that. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed that. I'm going to wrap the stats up here and call it a night. It is Wednesday night, September 2nd. So Labor Day is approaching shortly. So I hope everybody has a nice, safe Labor Day weekend. See some baseball and, of course, football, which is coming up shortly. But I'm still a baseball fan, and first and foremost, even ahead of football, and particularly with these board games and PC games. So I hope everyone has a great evening and a safe Labor Day weekend.